Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Monday's edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, kind of a sad day here in the Motor City after the Tigers get knocked out going to the World Series, and the Lions biting the dust as well. But there's always the markets on Monday morning. Dennis, how you doing?
Yeah, doing pretty good here, Joel. Obviously disappointing with the Detroit sports situation, but, Tigers had a good run, so, they tried their best. Obviously had a blow-up inning there, but it is what it is, so let's move on to something better. We do have, obviously, a decent morning. We're down slightly. We were up overnight, I think, on that, probably that El Paso merger, but we'll talk about that on the market movers.
Okay, getting right to the numbers. The S&P's made a Globex high at 1230.75, exceeding the Friday and weekly high by quite a bit. Couldn't hold that level. If that 30.75 holds as the high of the day, we have a downside target of 12.0025. The Globex low, currently we're trading right now 12.16. If somehow that holds as the low of the day, we got an upside target of 12.4650. I just wanted to alert all our listeners here to a very key number, and that number is 1223.75. That was the high back from August 31st. That's been the high since we made the first low of the move. So once again, folks, we're coming into a range. We're coming into the top of the range, and we're making a test of it. But below the 12.16 support, minor support at the pivot, 12.1025, and then Friday's intraday low of 12.0675. Moving on to the Big Ten, starting with ExxonMobil. It had to start just grinding, looking for resistance in this thing. Got a little bit tough, but we had a high right near the close here, 78.74 with a 78.37 close. So that's going to be some real good. 78.23 was our high with a close of 78.11. Since we're trading below those numbers, will be good resistance. Above that, let's look for the August 2nd high of 79.61. Then coming back on the downside, temporary support at Friday's low, 77.07. But better support at Tuesdays and Thursdays lows at the 75.71 to 75.84 level.
Yeah, stock continues to march higher after breaking through that 75 resistance earlier last week. It's tough to find resistance. Now look at the chart. I see 80, Joel. That's about the biggest thing that I can see coming up. We're $2 away from there, but we haven't been up to 80 in over a couple of months. I'd be shocked if there ain't some institution dumping some size up at 80.
Okay, Apple Computer, what can we say about this stock? Really will not take very long to do the numbers in this stock. 422.86, the all-time high, currently trading above that level. Where it stops above there, nobody knows. Coming back on the downside, holding that 422.86 as well as the 422, which is the highest to close. Needs to hold there. If it breaks through there, look for an immediate 7-point drop until Friday's low at 415.27.
Stock continues to break out here, Joel. Now it looks wide open. It looks scary from a shorting perspective. I know I would not be trying a short on this stock. And pullbacks are still probably made to be bought here. But it's difficult. We've had such a run here. You look a week and a half ago, we're at 375, we're at 422. So even when you're buying the thing, there is air below. So you can see, these shakeouts can be vicious on stuff like this too. So if you are buying on the breakout, just get ready. You could take some heat.
Use some tight stops on the sell side. Moving on to IBM, continues to press toward that magical $200 level, settling at the high of the day, 190.53. Trading 73 cents below that, so that will be nice resistance coming up the first time. Also, Dennis likes to mention the whole numbers above that, but really above 190.53, I don't have anything. Come on back on the downside, little support at 188. We're still $1 away from there. But you really can't look until taking this stock short until we take out Friday's low of 187.73.
This just looks like a similar chart almost to the Apple, Joel. Obviously breaking out. It broke out a little bit sooner than the Apple a couple sessions ago, but stocks making new highs. Very scary to short. Obviously, that 200, but we're 10 points away from there. That may come into play, in the next few sessions, but right now that's probably not in play. And if you're buying it, it has run quite a ways from 170. So again, I would say use some tight stops.
Okay, Chevron Corporation was able to forge through that $100 level, getting to 100.56, closing 100.47, 2 cents away from that 100.58 level that we've had you guys focus on a while here, the September 8th high. So now we are trading below those levels to come up. They should be excellent resistance. Coming back on the downside, look the first stopping point to be 98.85, which was Friday's low.
And just the $100 probably a good psychological swing number still, even though we took it out there on Friday.
Okay, General Electric just pressing up against the that 1656 to 1660 level. Did it get as high as 1665 with the close at 1660? If you folks want to pull up a classic chart with resistance, pull up this GE and see how many times it's knocked its head against this 1650 level. Let's see if it has some momentum to get up there to test the August 5th high at 1695. But coming back on the downside, a little gap between Friday's low and Thursday's high, 1640 and 1631. But below the 1630 level, we're looking at $16.
Yeah, I would say reiterate the 16 below the 1650 level. But the 1655, 1656 we're trading here right now, so maybe, we get a little bit of buyers here in the 1650 area. If that can hold, you're right, maybe we do try to make a march up there to that 17 area.
Okay, Microsoft finally got up to that 2750 level that we had been focused on for a while on our number sheets. Peeled back to close at 2727. Currently trading just a few cents away let's use 2727 as your swing number. Coming back on the downside, 2702 Friday's low, be a good place to cover shorts the first time. If in fact it takes that out, let's look for the 2662 to 2672 level, which was Tuesday's and Thursday's lows.
Yeah, you got that number spot on there, that 27.5. That was the high on Friday there, Joel, so good job on that one. I like the 27 for support, 27 even if it's pulled back. It's not huge, but it should see some buyers in there. Obviously, start breaking above that 27.5, then we could start talking about 28.
Okay, moving on to our next component, AT&T did make a fresh high for the week at 29.43. Peeled back close at 29.17. Interestingly, you have a kind of a double close here area, 29.17, which was Friday's close, and Thursday's high and close at 29.10 and 29.12. So let's use that as our swing area. Below that, I do see Friday's low at 28.97. That's a decent number. It's not a great number. I think if you get some momentum down to the downside in this stock, I'd be looking for that double bottom from Wednesday and Thursday at 28.63 to 28.70.
Yeah, but the 29 number too, I like that just because it was resistance for so long. We obviously got back down there yesterday and we kind of bounced a bit off that 28.97 on Friday being the low. So I think I would try. I'll probably be trying some longs there. Tight stops again around that 29 area. Starts to take out the 28.90s, then I think you talk about Joel's 28.60 there.
Okay, J&J just not participating in this rally the last few days, just bumping its head against that 65 level. You still got that seller in the book there, Dennis?
He's still there, Joel. You don't go away. 200,000 at 65. So that's what's giving you this resistance here in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. You get some swing traders that don't mind risking 30 cents. And the high frequency guys start coming in the 80s and 90s. So everybody kind of just leaning on the high frequency guy, leaning on the size. So that's why you're seeing this area really struggle to move up. Obviously, that 65 seller gets taken out, then it opens up. Then we would look at possible tractor beam plays and trades like that.
Okay, yeah, just keep an eye. We're currently trading at that 64, 74 level. Doesn't seem like the Slight sell-off in the SPOOs has bothered J&J this morning. Getting a bunch of lows in the 63.57 to 64 area. 63.57 to 63.54. That was Monday and Thursday's lows. Tuesdays and Wednesday's lows just above that. So don't look for a breakdown on this stock until we can get below this 63.57 area. Moving on to Procter & Gamble, just kind of the same story as with J&J. It did take out that big seller the other day at 65. On that day moved up to 65.34, but on Friday we couldn't make a new high for the week. Stopped at 65.17. 64.89 close, so currently trading in that area. Use that whole 65.17 to 65.34 as major resistance. Coming back on the downside, the stock is really consolidating here. Thursdays and the weekly low was 63.97, so don't look for a breakdown of Procter & Gamble until we get below that 64 level.
Yeah, we were talking about some size up there on Friday and on Thursday, a little bit higher at 65.50. I do see some size at 65.20. Keep in mind the stock did get an upgrade. BMO Capital upgrading the stock here this morning. Obviously, it's Canadian Bank. I don't know how much influence that's going to have, but it could put a little bit of upward pressure. Maybe give us a test that 65.20 seller there.
Okay, Pfizer trying to spend some time above $19 here. Wednesdays and Fridays high at 19.06 and 19.08. If it does manage to get through there, you still have the September 1st high at 19.15 to catch some more resistance. The major resistance stands at our July 29th and August 1st highs at 19.46 to 19.49. Coming back on the downside, Friday's low, 18.85 is good support. Below that, look for the 18.58 to 18.63 level, which was Tuesdays and Thursdays lows. It looks like these last three stocks in the Big Ten, and also if you want to include AT&T here, they look like they're getting kind of tired here. They're still trying to rally with the market, but they're running into some real formidable resistance as opposed to some of those other stocks that have broken out. But, folks, that's a wrap of the Big Ten. That 12.16 level is still holding strong here. We're going to take a break, get a word from our sponsors, and be back with our market movers.